houses, of course, because people want to move here.
With more houses brings more residents, and you need more parking spaces.
Look at that.
Segue.
More people going to downtown.
Segue.
New segue, or nice segue.
Thanks.
147 new parking spots coming to downtown Crown Point. This is something that you hear from everybody, which is not enough parking, not enough parking. Well, now you just have to walk a block, okay? Now, as a resident of Crown Point, most of these spots, I don't usually park on the east side of town. That's just like I don't usually go to the east side, but we're going to bring some awareness to it. It's one block over, okay? So even I have to fight this a little bit because I'm like, but it's on the east side. It's a good place to park. 147 new parking spots coming to downtown. Crown Point City is in the midst of an expansive, as an NWI Times story, expansive parking lot project that will bring 147 new spots. City is adding 38 street parking spots, 109 parking lot spaces. Work is being guided by the recommendations of American Structure Point, an engineering consulting firm. They did a 3-part study to see where basically the best spots would be. They're also making some other changes. So their focus also, not just to add spaces, was also pedestrian safety. So to enhance pedestrian safety and reduce bottlenecks in the historic downtown square, Clark Street will be made into a one-way, which has already happened. So you can only head westbound on Clark into the square. You cannot go eastbound, and they expanded that walkway. So now there's more space for pedestrians to walk around, and you can only enter the square from there. So that's actually already been done. Let's see what else they got here. A pedestrian bump out made. Okay, parking lot beside the post office is undergoing a large expansion. Once complete, the post office lot will have 159 spaces, which is up from 88. So in the evening, obviously, post office parking lot's closed. I don't see a lot of people park on the north side of that lot, but there's a lot of parking over there, and they're expanding that and basically doubling it. So so that's big. So parking at the post office is going to be an option. And then also that would be East Street. On the west side of East Street, the city purchased a couple old homes, tore them down, and they are putting in a lot, which I think is almost done now. So anyway, a total of 12 parallel parking spots over by the Super Bowl. Most of this is projected to be done by the end of this year, and some of it in spring of 2023. 147 new parking spots coming. So look over by Clark Street, right off Clark Street and East Street, over by police department, post office, and that new lot there over by just north of the library. So, thoughts?
I think it's much needed.
If anyone says it's not, I don't think
they don't
come to the square. They don't come to the square.
Yeah. I mean, not much to really talk about there, in my opinion. But
it's more of a news, like, hey, good news.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
So, but even as somebody, though, from Crown Point, I will say, I never park on the east side. I'm always like driving around trying to find something. I'll go just off, like Bulldog Park is usually like over by Bulldog Park. There's a lot of times. So it's funny because it's right there, but it seems like it's so far. But I think it's
more
only
of a principle thing.
Doesn't it? Right? It seems like it's so far, but it's not. Like you just see the back of buildings, not the front of them.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm looking at the back, but you walk one block and you're there. So
yeah,
go by the post office, the police department. There's a lot more parking over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's just going to take some getting used to.
Yeah,
but
there you go. For the
you're not setting
people.
your ways yet.
Still
close.
setting my ways. All right. Next story. Look at Chicago Bears, baby. Bear down. Chicago Bears show renderings of enclosed stadium complex in Arlington Heights. And they have recently just shared those plans of what it looks like. So for the first time, the Chicago Bears confirmed Tuesday that the stadium the team is considering building in Arlington Heights would be domed. But the team also looking for tax. We don't need that there. Let's see. So the 326-acre development would also include restaurants, office spaces, a hotel, a fitness center, new parks, and open spaces. The team estimated that construction of the proposed project would create 48,000 jobs, $9.4 billion in economic impact for Chicagoland, and $1.4 billion in annual economic impact. Let's see. We remain under contract to purchase the property, but there are conditions that must be met in order to be in a position to close. The team wrote in a statement, if we do close on the property, it would not guarantee we will develop it. So they're looking there's still a lot of things up in the air is what it sounds like there. Let's see. The Team has played in Soldier Field in Chicago for a half of a century and pays $6.5 million a year in rent. The lease goes through 2033, but they can break the lease for $84 million as of 2026. So in 2026, they could sign a check for $84 million, which for Chicago's problems, that money would be gone in about 34 seconds, and they could break in July in 2026. In July, Mayor Lori Lightfoot proposed options to build a dome over Soldier Field for $2.2 million, without specifying how it would be paid. Let's see. Bears signed a preliminary agreement in 2021. They're under contract. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. Team projected construction would generate $3.9 billion in labor income to workers, and more than 9,750 long-term jobs and $601 million in annual worker income. As for tax revenue, the Bears' estimated deal would generate $16 million annually for Arlington Heights and $9.8 million for Cook County, $51.3 million for the state of Illinois. It's a little bit more here, but yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm gonna start off by saying I do not envy Lori Lightfoot's job, but I think I think that it sucks to see the Bears leave, quote unquote, Chicago. You know, they're staying within Chicagoland. That sucks that they're leaving the city.
And I love Soldier Field just from what it is, like the history of Soldier Field.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I struggle with this one. I don't want to go to Arlington Heights for Bears games.
Me neither.
I mean, obviously for Northwest Indiana that sucks because it's further away. But it's also just weird to think like going to Arlington Heights for a Bears game. Yeah. I don't know.
But big but here. I don't blame the Bears at all.
Yeah.
Like that area of Chicago, I, as a father, would rather take my kid to Arlington Heights for a night game than go right there.
Yeah.
And it sucks as a Bears fan, but I see why they're doing it. And I think it opens up the Bears organization to bring in more revenue from things like hosting the Super Bowl one day. You know, hosting larger concerts or college football playoff games, just like neutral sites like hosting the UFC, things like that. You know, that opens up a lot of cool opportunities, and it's good for the Arlington Heights area. For sure.
Obviously for Arlington,
jobs
like,
going.
Yeah,
there.
imagine if as a suburb of Chicago that was coming here. Like, dude, wow, that's crazy.
My goodness.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to see him go. But
do we know? Like, I don't know the details on this. So, you guys chime in if you know. But is it that they don't? Is it the location because of traffic? Is it working with the city? Is that the problem? Do we know why the Bears organization doesn't want to be there?
I think that the city has promised that. And again, I haven't. You know, I'm not well read. There's a lot of hearsay, I guess. So maybe I shouldn't talk at all.
Do you know anything around this?
Could be rough estimate that the size of the stadium isn't large enough.
That's part of it too.
Yeah.
Events.
Absolutely.
You know, other teams and
Yeah.
those, you know,
So the
playoffs,
so the
everything like
size of the stadium,
Yeah.
and you had mentioned that too, like offering other options for other events. Yeah.
Yes.
Which you just brought up too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. From what my understanding was that the city had made some like promises to the Bears over the years that they were gonna do certain things and didn't happen. And just that, you know, getting from here to Soldier Field, it's kind of rough. You know,
Yeah, getting in once traffic's there, it's rough. Like Lakeshore Drive, off Lakeshore.
It's
and
just a mess.
Dan Ryan and
Yeah.
Well, interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I know it's far off, but I don't know. I just struggle with going to Arlington Heights for a Bears game. It's cool to go downtown as you're pulling off. You look at downtown and then close to the lake.
Yeah,
and
it's so much cooler to be at Soldier
and just the
Field.
history of Soldier Field, man.
Soldier Field, in my opinion, and I haven't seen the finalized plans on Arlington Heights, but in my opinion, Soldier Field is going to be way cooler than whatever they're building in Arlington Heights.
Just out of principle.
Just out of principle, just because of the way I am.
Historic.
But, I am excited to see like what other opportunities outside of watching the Bears lose there. You know,
yeah. I mean, if anyone hasn't,
broke that.
yeah, for sure, man. I mean, we might as well get a new stadium to suck at.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah.
You know, hey, I like Justin Fields, and I believe in Justin Fields. I'm just putting that on the record. I'm gonna give him How long is this contract? I need to look that up.
Yeah, look it up.
We need some more Bears people chiming in and giving us some news here. But
I like Justin Fields.
I like Justin Fields. I'm optimistic about the cat. I don't know what
I think
what about
that,
around him, but I like him a lot, dude, and I think he could be a very solid quarterback.
Yeah,
So-
I think obviously he's kind of thrown to the wolves a little bit last year, and I think that the offensive scheme was not letting him do his thing a whole lot, which is
I want
ironic.
to see him roll out. I want to see him
Yeah,
run. I want to see
exactly.
him make plays. I want to see him being an athlete.
It's ironic.
It's just nice
like,
to see. It's nice to see the Bears have a quarterback who's an athlete. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Trubisky. We had a year where we were like, we're looking pretty damn good here, and
Yeah.
then that fell to the wayside. So we need a guy with the mindset and the athletic ability.
Yeah.
And I like Fields
Yeah.
for those reasons.
Former coach being a former offense coordinator and quarterback coach for Kansas City, it's ironic that Fields didn't, really thrive in that atmosphere. But I like Fields because he's a dog, man. He's a winner. He's
Yes.
going to figure it out and do his best.
That's what I want, dude.
That's
I
what
want someone with the
He
mindset of a winner.
embodies the city,
Mm. He's a dog.
Just
He's gonna get after it.
even when he's down and out, he's just trying to make something happen.
I've got belief in him. I don't know.
Free agent in 2026.
26, so we got a few years with him. I don't know what his contract says for early termination, but
In
and a
all
segue
reality, he'll probably be mediocre for a couple of years, and then we'll trade him, and then he'll be a standout athlete.
Sounds
somewhere
about
else.
right.
Yeah.
Let's segue to that. This is a side story. I think a lot of us will be very happy on this one. Ex-Bears coach Nagy sells his Lake Bluff home for $4.5 million.
He gone.
See ya. Peace. Get out of here. I got nothing else other than that's the story. But Nagy and his wife got $4.45 million for their 6-bedroom, 9,400 square foot mansion in the Village, 35 miles north of Chicago, in Lake Bluff. Price was about 75% of the 5.95 listing price. Wow! So they were listed at $6 million, got 4.45.
Not the first time.
Rough
it's come up
pricing
short
there,
in
Mr.
Chicago.
Sorry about you, dude. Nagy, hey, but in 2018, this cat paid $2.75 million for the crib.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
He's gonna be just fine.
Which sits on about 2 acres, beautiful home. But Mr. Nagy, see ya.
Adios.
Ready for you to get going after the last 2 years. That's all we got on that story.
Yeah.
Thin, as you like to say.
Thin.
We got one more, and then we'll get out.
Yeah, we got an Inman article here. Something that I've been noticing a lot when I'm talking to people about real estate. My day-to-day life is consumer sentiment is down. Have you noticed that at all in your conversations? So this article here says tables turn as market conditions begin to favor buyer. Survey says Fannie Mae's National Housing Survey suffered its 6th straight month of declines and lowest reading in a decade as market conditions push buyers and sellers to the sideline. So the article goes on to say that like it did in the headline, after 6 months of consecutive declines, the consumer sentiment index has declined to 62 points. So thoughts on that?
I think we're seeing a shift to a normal real estate market.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really think people have to understand that the fact that what we just went through. We've said this in a lot of our short clips. We've said a lot in other podcasts when we dive into these 14 points with Ferry. I mean, at the end of the day, what we went through in 2020, 2021, and part of 2022 is literally like an unsustainable, never before seen. Like, when have you ever seen a real estate market where people list a house and within hours, you're seeing 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 offers?
It's
Like,
it's unheard of.
This is like right now we have, compare it to, what do they tell you about when in driving school? They call it velocitized, right? Where when you're driving for a long time on a highway and you're going 90, in this scenario, we're going 140 miles an hour for 2 years.
Yeah.
And now we just got off on 109th from 65,
And we're
and
about
now
to
the
get a
speed limit
speeding
is
ticket, baby.
35, right? And you feel like you're not even moving, okay?
Yeah.
We need to understand that we were just going 140 for 2 freaking years, and now we're down to a speed limit, okay? Are things shifting? Yes. And there's a lot of other things that we need to look at. Like we talked about in one of our short clips we made, unemployment, right? We need to look at all unemployment, interest rates, the overall market. Like, there's a lot of things to look at here, okay? But right now it feels like it's a normal market. Are people concerned? Yes, because we just were going 140 and now you're going 35.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got to see that what we were going through is not normal. So does it feel different? Yes, because it is different. But my opinion is we're going towards a more normal market. Rates close to 5.5%, 6%, closer to 6% now. But understand, if things get bad, what does the Fed have to do? They have to lower interest rates if things get bad to get people to spend money. So this is fighting inflation, okay, which is obviously a major problem. By raising interest rates, it's obviously affecting home values. In most areas of the country, it's from a housing perspective, what we're seeing right now and what experts are forecasting is not a housing crash. We're just seeing an adjustment to a more normal market. But I mean, there's a lot of other factors that go into that too, and we're going to continue to pay attention to it. I just think we're velocitized.
Yeah, I think that another analogy is when you're like watching like a flock of birds fly and they all like move in the same direction, and it's like obviously they're not talking to each other, but they're just operating as a group.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what like buyers and sellers operate like in real estate. I heard this analogy that like when something changes, interest rates go up, then they all operate and go the same way. In this circumstance, they're all going to the sidelines. They're all waiting. What's going to happen? You know, nobody wants to be the first to move, and they kind of move as a group. So I think, like you said, if things do go bad and we do continue down this road towards a recession and consumer sentiment continues to drop, and
Well, technically, we've already hit a recession. Two quarters of negative GDP.
That's right.
As long as the definition stays the same.
Yeah, we're already in it, and I think that if interest rates do drop, you're going to see a bunch of buyers flood into the marketplace, and inventory is a little higher than it has been over the last couple of years, but it's not where it needs to be.
Right.
I think that's all going to get gobbled up, and we're going to go back into a crazy cycle. So if I had to make a prediction, that would be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't foresee prices going down. Like a lot of people are hoping that prices are going to plummet, and I know that there's a bunch of the major news sources that are saying that prices are dropping for the first time.
It's just trying to get you to click on it.
That's it. That's all that they're doing. Don't fall for that. Prices, if they do go down a couple percent, let's say, knock on wood, if they do drop a couple percent, look at the last couple of years. They're still up, 30-something percent than what they were a couple of years ago. So that's my rant.
Yeah, so, I mean, the key on it is don't try to game the housing market. That's what happened in 06 and 07.
That's right.
People were buying stuff to sell 4 months later for 20% more, 10% more, whatever.
Not putting any work into it. Not putting any money into it.
Yeah, you can't expect to buy something right now and then sit on it for 4 months and make a profit.
Yeah.
That's just stupid, right? So that's called gambling. Just go roulette. Throw it all on 30.
Yeah. Go on down to the Hard Rock.
Give it a shot. But but I mean, in my opinion, we're just seeing a more normal. It feels more normal. Like a house will go on the market. You see a couple showings, even if it's priced right. A lot of houses will still sell very quickly. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The other side of it is if it's overpriced, which we've talked a lot about this, you're going to sit.
Mm-hmm.
So the good news is your house is worth more than it was before. And as a buyer, this gives you bargaining power for houses that are overpriced. And oftentimes you end up getting a better deal than if they would have listed for fair market value because they sit for a while. And as a buyer, you can throw them a number under market value because they got no other offers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of good parts about this. I mean, obviously it's our job and our business. That's why we're talking about negative, like quote unquote negative news, because we're not going to shy away from the fact that the markets are shifting, but it's a good thing for us to address and to talk about. And we want questions. If anyone has questions, talk about it. So we're going to keep putting stuff out there to talk about what exactly is going on.
Yeah, totally. I think that, it's a good thing. I think that if things would have continued the way that they were, then no one would be able to afford their first home. And,
Dude,
that would just be
no way.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. I do think values will go down in even more so in markets that are overinflated. Austin, Texas is, Miami, Florida is, like
Colorado's of the world.
Parts of the there's parts of the country that are overinflated, that are overpriced at this point. And the only place for those numbers to go is maybe slightly down, but specific to, and in our market, I think there will be types of properties that the values will go down. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that the first-time homebuyer house in downtown Valparaiso is going to lose value. You know what I mean? I don't think that the move-up buyer price point in a safe neighborhood with good schools and all that, where people want to raise their children, is going down. But maybe the 1 or 2 bedroom condo that's new construction that's $650,000.
Yeah, it's all about how big is your buyer pool. You know, simple supply and demand. How many people would be interested in this property? Like you said, that one condo that's, you know, super expensive, 1-bedroom condo, there's only certain number of people that are interested in buying that. The 3-bed, 1-bath house, you know, a quarter mile from the square, there's a lot of people that want to buy that.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's going to remain constant.
Thanks for hopping on. Let's get some guests. Throw some guests at us. Different ideas, people you guys would recommend. We got some cool videos coming out next week on different businesses opening up in the area. A couple restaurants to go to. What is it? Well, we got one video for Bomber's Barbecue, and then another place, Twisted Sugar. Both on Broadway, actually. We're going to be doing a video for them. So stay tuned for those. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching.
Thanks.
Thank you.